Hello there, kia ora. Look, I know over the weekend things kind of got overshadowed with what happened in the United States, but it's also really important to remember just how easy it is for overshadowing news pieces to knock off the front page just how frankly weird a weekend it was for the New Zealand government as well. It started off on Friday with Mark Cameron, the ACT MP, who decided that wearing gumboots in the house was a way of showing solidarity to those poor oppressed farmers who had to deal with the life crushing regulations of being farmers. He decided to introduce an act who, as a private member's bill, so basically it's got to be pulled out of the cookie tin, saying that local councils no longer have to worry about climate change when it comes to their consenting decisions. This is something that goes against what insurers want because they're now looking at climate change as a major driver for some of the things that impact their industry, as well as what other councils are already doing. And as somebody who's actually literally been knee deep into the effects of climate change and the extreme weather events that they cause, personally, I'm really glad to see councils doing what they can to mitigate these things and take climate change on board. Now, Cameron himself used to be a bit of a climate change denier. These tweets that resurfaced during the election campaign, well, they're pretty clear, but we were promised he was no longer a climate change denier during the election. And then he goes and does something like this. Makes you wonder what else the ACT Party lied to us about when it came to the election campaign. In other news, the Prime Minister's actually been overseas himself. He's been in the United States for a NATO summit where things got really weird. You may recall he wanted to model our country on Estonia for some reason. Well, the Prime Minister of Estonia found him apparently wandering around looking a little bit lost at NATO HQ. On top of that, he also put out this really interesting thing about Giorgia Meloni, saying that the Italian Prime Minister was really interested to hear about his phone ban and had decided to go and implement it in 2007. Maybe she's got some kind of weird time travel phone thing going on. Honestly, not sure, to be honest. It's very weird. Very, very weird. And then on top of that, you also had the very strange news from Simeon Brown that they're going to be fighting against the tyranny of road cones. Yeah, because apparently that's the really big issue at the moment. When it comes to the cost of living crisis, that's pretty much hitting everybody. The way to fix that is less road cones. Okay, like saying please have less road cones on the road is going to somehow save more lives and help us with our costs of living. I mean, ugh. Look, realistically speaking, our government seems to have these weird kind of snafus every other day at the moment. They're genuinely just weird to sit down and look at because, well, we don't expect so much culture war and crap like this to come from our elected officials, but it is something that we have to deal with because that's who it is that this country elected. And so while it's easy to overshadow what's going on when you see big news from overseas, don't forget what's happening here locally is just as important and will impact us just as much.